let's go run a functional MRI scan. So if you, I know some of you have done these before. If you've watched lots of functional MRI scans, there's no reason for you to waste your time and watch this one. It's not necessary. But if you haven't watched one, come along.
Janelle she put a sheet on the bed, so that changes for every participant. And then those wires over there on the side of the scanner are the button boxes. So I don't know if Nancy's going to have a task or not. She might just be staring at scenes and objects. But if you have your participant doing a task, then you give them the button so they can answer yes or no, or happy or sad, or whatever you ask them to answer. So these are the MRI safe glasses. They're very cool looking. Whoops. So we pop in the lenses. Cool.
Nice.
Very cool. All right. So,
do you want like socks or anything?
Janelle's going to ask if she wants socks. Your feet get cold. It is kind of chilly. And then
Okay, yeah. Do you want to watch anything?
Janelle's going to put some padding around Nancy's head, so that's really important to help Nancy stay still. So I scan kids. You're going to hear me say that a lot. Now you know I'm not going to say it anymore. So I really pack kids in. I also take them across the hall first where we have a practice scanner and help them learn how to stay still that way. So they watch a movie while the camera is aimed at a sticker on their head. And if they move their head too much, their movie pauses. And that's sort of a reminder for them to stay still. Kids also get a scanner buddy in there, so someone who stands by their feet. And if they move, then the scanner buddy taps them on the leg to remind them to stay still. Nancy's just going to have to remember, but I'm sure she'll be fine. So usually, you have your participants doing a task during the functional part of the MRI scan, but first you collect just anatomical images. So what does the brain anatomy look like? And during that time, the participant can do anything, right? Because you're not measuring brain activity at all. You're just taking pictures. So we often use Pixar shorts just because they're short. They make sense when they're silent. They're engaging. People like them. So let's. Right, so there are headphones if you want. So again, with kids, I don't do vision experiments. I'm interested in social cognition, so how people think about other people, which means you either have to have people think about narratives or tell them a story, right? So with adults, we have them read, but with kids have different reading abilities. That's not really what I want to study. I want to study people, so I have them listen to stories. So I do have them put headphones in. So there are scanner-safe headphones as well. And they sort of help block out the scanner noise in addition to letting the participant hear the stimuli. But most people just stick with earbuds if they don't have auditory stim. So that's the mirror. So Janelle's giving her the squeeze ball. So if Nancy needs anything during the scan, she can squeeze the ball, and then a very loud, annoying noise will happen in this room. Telling us to stop the scanner, basically. That's because, obviously, we can't talk to her when she's in there. Again, with kids, they have a scanner buddy in there, and also squeeze balls are really fun to squeeze, so we actually don't give them to kids. Just raising her up, and now she's aligning her. That's done with the lasers. You have to ask the participant to close their eyes while you basically move the scanner button slowly until this laser that you're shining hits a line that's on the head coil piece. And that once you've got that lined up, then you push a button and it knows how far to send the person in so that they're in the center of the magnet where the signal is strongest, right? There she goes. Watch the wires. Cool. I just opened up our protocol for the 32 channel thing, but you can just drag these over. So first, Janelle will probably check in with Nancy and make sure she's doing okay. Or if Nancy was a real participant, you definitely would. But so it's just.
Hi, Nancy. Are you doing okay? Yeah. Okay.
So the first 2 scans are about 10 seconds each. They're just localizer scans. They're literally just basically telling the scanner where is Nancy's brain and what's the general shape of it. Super rough, you'll see it in 10 seconds. Okay, so now we have a super rough but still cool image of Nancy's brain. So this is again the sagittal slice from the side, the coronal from the back, and then the axial slice down. Basically there are 32 coil elements in the 32 coil headpiece, so you can use like a 12-channel coil. We use a 32-channel coil, and this is showing basically the signal coming from each element in the coil. These are both localizers. So the first localizer was a body coil localizer actually, and then the second one is the 32-channel head coil localizer. The AAA Scout is 40 seconds. It's going to help us basically align all the images later. So now now that's good. The next scan we're going to run is this MP Rage, and that's it's going to be the nice, pretty anatomical, which means it takes longer to collect. If they're already bad at being still, if you prolong how long they have to be still for, inevitably they're going to mess up. So if you let them watch something like this, higher chance of them being engaged, higher chance of them staying still, and it's nice and short. So again, for me, I'm interested in social cognition. This movie has a lot of information that contains social inferences that we make. And it's actually like way more naturalistic, realistic than some of the cut and dry stories that we might tell.
Hi, Nancy. So we just finished the MP Rage. Are you still awake?
Yeah.
Okay, then we'll start with the static localizer. Just a reminder, this is a one-back task. So press the button 1 so that's your index finger, I think, whenever 2 images repeat.
Sounds good.
Okay, we'll get that started.
It's tricky and dependent on what you're studying. Right, so now we can see, this is the bounding box. This is basically asking, like, where do you want to collect data? And our answer is, well, everywhere. We want to see the whole brain. And so the idea is you want to go to the top of the brain. You don't want to cut off too much of the anterior temporal lobes, the poles. And then you want this line to be aligned with the anterior posterior commissure, so that this is the corpus callosum, and the anterior posterior commissure basically is a line that goes through that to the most anterior and posterior parts of the brain. The fixation crosses there to sort of minimize eye movements and make sure that she's kind of looking in the center across all the stimuli. So if she were staring kind of at the edge of the screen, that wouldn't be totally helpful, right? Now we've got some buildings, some scenes. There's a desert, boardwalk, right? So this is a scene block. Now back to objects. There goes another watering can. Does everyone kind of understand this? So each block of 18 images is all objects or all scenes. This is off to the side, and if Danelle clicks this arrow and holds it down, we're going to start to go through. That was her ear, the left side of her brain, her eye, temporal lobe, corpus callosum, cerebellum, over to the right eye, right temporal lobe, and out. Yeah. It's very pretty. So basically, Nancy mentioned that you take a picture of the whole brain every 2 seconds, right? 2 seconds is our TR. These are all axial slices, so these are where her eyes are. And then as you move up, you go this way. So then this is kind of the top of her brain. Does that make sense, everybody? And she's staying still because these are actually updating every 2 seconds is another image. So 2 seconds, image 90. 2 seconds, image 91, okay? So if she were moving and every once in a while she'll blink, you'll be able to see the motion here. So she's staying nice and still. She wants you guys to see good data.
Hi, Nancy. Great job. You're holding very still. Are you ready to go on to the next run?
Yep.
Okay, we'll get going.
Could you show us like I'm a superhero professor at MIT part of the brain that?
Yeah.
Because that would be great.
Sort of the whole thing, yeah. So the main reason for taking 2 runs of the same thing is that fMRI signal is really noisy, like Nancy mentioned, and there will be small variations for stupid reasons, right? Like heart rate, or if you're feeling particularly anxious or something. So the best way to kind of get around that, do you want me to hit continue?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Is to take a measurement many, 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 many times, with the idea that if you take it many, 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 many times and you get the average HRF response to an object or to a face. This is the same reason why you do a bunch of different stimuli, right? Then the idea is that you get to average across the noise and get what you're really interested in that way.
Hi Nancy, how are you doing?
I'm fine, and I have an idea.
Okay.
We should do a scan where I'm moving a bunch. Hillary can show what that looks like.
Hi Nancy, so we'll start up the static localizer again, and then if you want to move for this run, that sounds good?
Sounds good.
And I'll analyze this data and show you guys what it looks like. But one common signal of motion is you'll get a ringing around the brain. And that's because the head is going in and out of the bounding box. So it looks like the voxels on the edge of the brain are turning on and off and on and off and on and off, but they're not. They're just going in and out of the bounding box. So you're collecting them and then you're not. And so that's why the edge of the brain gets that ringing when participants move. She's not moving too much. We'll see. I scan kids, so this is like small beans for me, sadly.
Hi Nancy, great movement. Should we run another run of that, or do you want to come out?
I think that's probably enough.
Okay, then I'll come get you out. Yeah.
So does MIT
Well, I didn't
own
know
the
if you-
scanner? Or
Do you still want me to take
What's
you
that?
out?
does MIT own the scanner?
Exciting. And there she is. She survived. You guys have any questions about anything? More questions? Nice work.